Oh no, I don't know if I'm gonna like this one. You refused to let your baby's father see the sonogram. Sometimes I don't know how to defend some of these. That one doesn't look good, does it? I don't have a good feeling. Happy apple picking day! Some real quick reminders from all of our friends or new people. It's been a little bit, you know? If you want to transfer your stories to be featured on Am I the Bad Apple, you can send them to my subreddit, r/amithebadapple. And as always, we all come from different branches of the apple tree. And what that means is we've all lived different lives and have different experiences. So like while we're discussing down in the comments, we just want to make sure that we're not like demonizing people for just not having an experience and not living through something and knowing what that feels like or knowing what those nuances might entail. Sometimes just sharing that experience with them will make them want to listen if it's not screamed at them, you know? Make them more willing to see things from your point of view. But let's also remember there's a difference between having different opinions, like I like pink and you might like purple or green. That's an opinion. People who prefer dogs or cats, these are opinions. Some things are not opinions. So just make sure we're differentiating, right? We're not gonna villainize people for opinions. Don't have a not opinion and wonder why people don't like that. That's also important. So without further ado, let's get started with this week's episode of Am I the Bad Apple? Let's go apple picking! Vixie, can you please make a decision of where you want to be? Apple number 1! I need to grab my laptop and you're making that a little bit difficult. Yeah, you are. You're doing that. Okay. Am I the bad apple for refusing to share with other kids at the preschool? So my daughter started preschool last Wednesday, and the teacher asked us to send pull-ups, wipes, and a change of clothes for her. I sent quite a few pull-ups and brand new packs of wipes. Also an outfit as requested. The issue is though, only the bottoms of her outfit came back to our house, and I saw another student from her class wearing the shirt when I went to pick her up. Now, I don't mind if the teacher needs to use some of my daughter's extra pull-ups for other kids, even some of the wipes. I'll send extra if those things are needed, because I understand what it's like to be a parent that can't provide that. However, when it comes to clothes, I'm not okay with sharing that. For starters, if they get sent home on a kid like the shirt did, there's a chance the school won't get that back. And clothes are expensive. I can't afford to replace them all like that. It all pretty much boils down to the fact that my daughter doesn't really have many clothes to begin with, so I can't really afford for them to get ruined or for them to not get sent back. So I'm just curious, would it make me the jerk if I talked to her teacher the next day and tell her I'm not comfortable sharing those things? No, not at all. Like not even a little bit. First, okay, I have thoughts that are like unnecessary, but I want to say them anyways. I need to. I want to say them anyways. Okay. For starters, you even expressing like, I know life can be tough for parents. If I can provide extra wipes and pull-ups, I want to do that. I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you for that. I 100% agree with you. Clothes is like a good line of like, no. I do want to say, because I already have a feeling I can smell some of the comments from here, I want to emphasize that while I agree the clothes thing should not have happened at all, I don't know how many teachers are in this room. I don't know how many kids are in this room. I would like to believe, I'm not saying this happened, I'm saying that I would like to believe that the clothes thing was genuinely an accident. Did maybe a top get misplaced? Did maybe when they were carrying things over, did one accidentally like fall into another pile? Like I would like to believe the clothes thing was an accident, and I would 100% talk to the teacher and find out. I'm just not going to be like, oh my God, how dare that teacher assume blah, blah, blah. Like I'm not going to do that, because I can 100% see like if that's one teacher to I don't know how many kids. Like I know they didn't have the same kind of class sizes when I was a high school teacher. I 100% do not believe that was the case. I'm not trying to say that at all. I'm just saying that as someone who was in education, I can see where an accident like that or a mishap like that would happen. Like we don't even know if the parent who got the top realized when their kid was sent home and like brought it back the next day. We don't even know if that happened. It very well could have, and I hope it does happen. I also hope that once the teacher is made aware, hey, this happened, the clothes were swapped around, I hope that the school reaches out to the parent if the parent doesn't volunteer that top back. 100%. I'm not saying that that shouldn't happen at all. I would just like to believe, again, that it was a genuine mistake and not something they meant on doing. But regardless, I'm still going good apple. Apple number 2. Am I the bad apple for making a woman uncomfortable at the gym? I, 31 male, go to the same gym most mornings before work. It's a regular chain gym, not one of those like influencer gyms, but people still record sets sometimes. There are actually signs about not filming other members without consent, but it's not like that is a regular occurrence. A few weeks ago, this woman, we'll call her Jenna, started setting up a tripod near the cable machines. I didn't care. It's not like I'm trying to police anyone. I was just doing my workout and stayed out of the way. The thing is, I kept noticing that I was showing up in her videos anyway in the background. I mean, one day I was just doing lateral raises and her phone was pointed straight through the mirror so you could see a big chunk of the floor behind her. I wasn't trying to snoop or anything. I only noticed because I could literally see myself in the mirror on her screen when I walked by. I'm not saying she was doing it on purpose or anything, but I also don't want to be in some stranger's videos at 7 a.m. when I'm half awake and sweaty. The first time I said something to her about it, I tried to keep it casual. I waited until she was between sets and I just said, hey, I think I'm in the background of that. Would you mind adjusting the camera angle a little bit? She sighed and moved it slightly and said she was just recording her form. A week later, it happened again, and this time I more directly said, I'm not comfortable being in your videos. Can you please point it away from the main floor or keep the angle tighter? She got annoyed and said that if I don't feel comfortable, I can work out somewhere else, because this is a public gym. Well, that's when I got frustrated and I told her, no, it's not. This is a private business and I'm not the one filming. She just rolled her eyes at me and walked away. That's when I went to the front desk and I asked what the actual policy was. They told me filming's allowed, but if someone doesn't want to be in your shot, you're supposed to adjust, and staff can step in if it keeps becoming an issue. I told them I've already talked to her twice, and they happily went over and spoke to her. Well, that's when she cornered me near the lockers and said that I was a creep for watching her, and that I'm trying to control women at the gym, and now she feels targeted and anxious to come in. Now I'm sitting here wondering if I escalated it too far. I just don't want to be in someone's content. But I also get how going to staff can look like a bigger move than just letting it go. So I just need to know, am I the bad apple? No, not even like a little bit. Let me tell you, like one of the biggest reasons that I don't film stuff in public is because I don't want to accidentally have anyone like in my content, right? If I was filming in public and someone came up to me and was like, I see you're filming and I just would not be comfortable being in someone's video. Like, I'm not even saying if they knew who I was, they probably would not. I'm saying if they saw that someone was filming and it was me and they just saw that they were in my shot and they come up to me and they said, that makes me uncomfortable, I would be, first of all, I'd be mortified. I would apologize profusely. I would say, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to include you in it. I absolutely can redo it. I'm so sorry. And if by a millionth percent of a chance that it was something of like, I did a volcano explosion, I couldn't redo it. I don't really do content like that, but I just know someone's gonna ask about it in the comments and try to make it like an exception of what if blah, 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 blah. Then you make it a point to, I will go through the effort to make sure that you are completely blurred out. I am so sorry about that. I will make sure that your face is not posted anywhere. I'm so sorry. Like, I would be mortified. I don't understand like the lack of self-awareness. And I know someone's gonna maybe be like, well, she wasn't posting it. It doesn't matter because you don't actually know what they're gonna do with that content. You don't actually know. Like, other people's privacy matters. Other people being able to go about their day and not be impacted by yours matters. Are there issues in not just this country, but this world, with like men harassing women at gyms, in anywhere, like gyms being one example of places that this happens? Yes. Are there also people who milk this and victimize themselves in situations where like, no, they're not doing anything wrong to you. They're not harassing you. They're not bothering you. Like, they're not letting you do whatever you want to do, but like, just because you're a woman at the gym doesn't mean you get to do whatever it is you want to do. Also, yes, like, two things can be true at the same time. Just because one is more common than the other does not mean that the other does not happen, and this is one of those times. Just in case there's anyone in the comments that is like trying to justify this woman, it is not weird if you are walking somewhere, like if you see your face on something, like even if it's in your peripherals, your brain is gonna lock in on that. That's not weird, that's not creepy. That is your mind locking in on something that it sees as familiar as in your face. I think that's normal. I don't think that's weird that he noticed. Asking someone, can you please adjust your shot so that I'm not in the frame, should not be a big deal. And this is a nuance that I notice, and this is what I mean by like everyone has different experiences, right? I could be wrong, but this is a nuance that I caught because of my experience. If you are going to the gym and you are simply recording just to look at your form and see what's going on, I don't understand why it would be a big deal to adjust your angle. The only thing that I can imagine, and again, I could be wrong, but this is something that I picked up based off of my experience. I can't imagine a scenario where she would be that worried about like not just the angle but like the background and what's around and how it looks, unless she was planning on posting it. I can't think of anything else that it would be. I know lots of people who try to make little fitness accounts, and I'm not saying she is, and I'm not saying it would be wrong if she isn't. But if she is, that's even more so of, you gotta be mindful of people who are around, and not everyone wants to be in the background of your content or of your videos. It is not unreasonable to be in a private space and expect privacy and expect to not be filmed. And if you want to go somewhere and be able to film whatever you want with whoever in the background, then you can find a public space to do so. I don't even like doing that in public. Like I would feel bad, I would feel guilty. But you do you. Just because he's a man and she's a woman does not mean he can't go to the front desk and say, she's not following the rules and it's making me uncomfortable. Because if it was reversed, if he was a woman and she was a man, you know, no one would even be questioning that. They just wouldn't. It wouldn't even be a question. Of course, it's unacceptable, they can't do it, and they should have told her, you cannot do this. Period. And I feel like I'm over-explaining for things that don't really need explanations and over-explanations, but for whatever reason, I'm just feeling like there's always gonna be a couple people that like insist. You know what I mean? Good apple. Apple number 3. Am I the bad apple for kicking my sister-in-law's husband out of wedding festivities? For my wedding day, we rented a hotel suite in the city. I paid for hair and makeup for all my bridesmaids, and as a courtesy, I also paid for my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law. I'm not super close with my sister-in-law, but she's very close to my husband, so I included her. On the morning of the wedding, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law arrived late because my sister-in-law and her husband had been on a beach trip. When they arrived, my sister-in-law brought her husband into the suite with his clothes to get ready for the wedding later, which surprised me because she didn't mention anything about bringing him with her. All 3 of them sat on the couch and her husband stayed there on his phone. I texted my husband asking if he was supposed to stay and get dressed there or here or where, and my husband didn't know either. I told him this was meant to be a woman-only space because we're all wearing robes and they open easily and like it's just a privacy issue. I asked my husband to tell his sister that her husband needed to go wait in the hotel lobby, but she refused and was also against the idea of him driving back to our house to get ready with my husband and their groomsmen because she didn't want him getting lost since they are from another country, which makes sense. My other bridesmaids' partners offered that he could go hang out with them in the hotel lobby, but that, I guess, wasn't an option either. My sister-in-law got upset and tried to leave with her husband, but the hair and makeup artist convinced her to come back since it was already paid for. She got her hair and makeup done, and then all 3 of them, my sister-in-law, her husband, and my mother-in-law, all left to go wait in the lobby. They even ended up getting dressed in the lobby bathrooms, even though my mother-in-law and sister-in-law were allowed to get ready in the suite if they wanted to. My mother told me privately that she thought it was rude to bring a man into a room where women were changing and getting ready. But my sister-in-law was clearly very upset about the whole thing, and maybe she didn't want him to have to sit alone for hours in the lobby, but I don't know. Was I the bad apple for not letting him stay there? Was I being inflexible? No. Just no. I cannot understand a world where you have a room where women are getting dressed like just willy-nilly. Why would you bring any guy in there? Much less your husband. You want your husband around all these girls changing? And I feel like someone in the comments would be like, well, they can go into a space. This was the space. This was the space that was designated for them to be able to change freely and do whatever freely without any guys around watching. Like, and I'm not saying that he was sitting there watching or being creepy, but it shouldn't matter. He shouldn't be there. Like, this is the equivalent of a women's changing room. Why is he in there? I've been in lots of weddings. I've had my own wedding, okay? Like, this is like the equivalent of, it's not a sleepover, but this is like girls' day, right? We're all like having fun and we're laughing and chit-chatting and whatever. Like, we're having girl time and we're bonding and having a good time. Why are you bringing your husband to girls' night? No, this is not the place for you. And it's not even like this is your brother or your dad or like your best friend's husband that's like coming to grab something really quick. Like, this is not someone, you just said you're not close with your sister-in-law. So this is not even a guy that you have a relationship with. Why is he there while you're changing for your wedding? Nope. That's strange, and I think it's weird for your sister-in-law and mother-in-law to not think that's strange. Personally, I don't understand the idea of, okay, he can't go and wait by himself, he can't go and wait with the other guys, he then can't go to where your husband is, like, and I know you don't want him to get lost, you get him an Uber. I'm not understanding why the only option is he has to be right there next to her at all times. Okay, is it codependency or do you not trust him? Like, what's the situation? I don't understand. Not that it could be neither of those, but those are the only two things that I can think of. Like, I can't imagine a rationale of someone you don't have a close relationship with, whether they're family or not, someone that you don't have a close relationship with, insisting that a man has to come sit around while you and your friends are changing. That's weird. So weird. No, good apple. And it's not even about like what you want, like the other girls. I wouldn't be comfortable with that. If I was there in a bridal party getting ready and some random guy that I don't know is just sitting there, like, I would not be comfortable sitting there in my robe. Like, for those of you who have never been in a bridal party before, like, typically those robes, they don't stay together super great. And you don't care because it's a bunch of girls. Who cares? I don't care. At whether it was my wedding or Sarah's wedding or Lauren's wedding, half of us, we all like did cheerleading with each other for so many years, like it did not matter. I would not be comfortable in some of those little pajama sets or robes with some dude there. I just would not. And like something, okay, this might even upset some people, and I'm sorry if it upsets you. I'm sorry if you are upset. It's not gonna change what I'm saying. We don't know anything about this guy, and I'm not saying he is creepy. All I'm saying is all guys who are creepy also have family members. So like, just because I know I feel like someone's gonna be like, well, he's family. That doesn't mean he's not creepy. And I'm not saying he is. I'm saying we don't know that he's not. That's all I'm saying. So good apple, all the way. Can't convince me otherwise. We had a lot of good apples today. Feel like we gotta shake something up, you know? Maybe this last one. I told you I don't have a lot of hope for this last one. Apple number 4. Am I the bad apple for not allowing my ex to see the sonogram photos of his child? So just quick trigger warning for miscarriage. I, 32 female, dated my ex, 33 male, for 2 years. During that time, our relationship was very difficult. One weekend, he was mad at me because he thought that a man at the grocery store was trying to flirt with me. He refused to speak to me the entire weekend. We didn't live together full time, and that Saturday, I found out that I was expecting, but I also ended up losing said expectation at the same time. I tried to call him from the hospital, and he ignored my call, so my best friend called him, and he did answer for her. She lives out of state. She told him what was going on, and he didn't reach out to me or even come to the hospital. I didn't hear from him until the following Tuesday. Needless to say, I never got over that, and we broke up shortly thereafter. He never apologized and ended up saying the problem took care of itself. Well, now a year later, he reached out, and he wants to see the sonogram photos and talk to me about what happened at the hospital. I declined, and I told him that due to his actions that weekend, I didn't think he deserved any further information or to see those photos. He flipped out and he called me every name in the book. So I just need to know, was I the bad apple? I genuinely believe I have a very strong feeling about this, and I have a very strong opinion about this. Do I feel like there are going to be people who do not agree with me? Yes. And that's, I think, is going to be like a boundaries thing, like based on like your personal opinion on that. And I'm gonna be so honest, and some of you are not gonna like this, and that is fine. You do not have to like everything that I say. I'm not gonna like everything that some of you guys say, and that's fine. I am totally okay with women who have a different opinion than me on this story, because that's like a genuine boundaries issue. Or not issue, sorry, not even issue. That's just a difference of boundaries. Issues was the wrong word. Very sorry about that. I don't really care if guys have different opinions than me. I think there are some stories where genuinely, like as a woman, my opinion just like isn't gonna matter. I think there are some stories where guys' opinions, I don't really think it matters. I think there are some stories where like some people's opinions just aren't going to matter. This is one of them. And if that upsets you or offends you, I'm sorry you feel that way. That doesn't change my thoughts on that. And you might not even agree with me on that. That's fine, you don't have to. That's my opinion. So, I'm going complete good apple, 100%. And let me explain to you why. Regardless of if it's planned, regardless of if it's a surprise, regardless if you spent time actually like acknowledging, oh my goodness, I have life growing inside me, like miscarriage is going to be traumatic most of the time, full stop. Okay, I'm not a definitive person. I'm not going to like speak to the experience of every woman on this planet. Most of the time, it's traumatic in some way, shape, or form. Okay, therefore, I do not think it is anyone else's right to mess with a woman's like healing from that experience. Okay, so like initially it happened, she's reaching out to him, he's not interested. He gets the information, he knows what's happening, he's not interested. She gave him that opportunity. He not only like wasn't interested in the opportunity, but was not interested in how it impacted her. This is someone who is punishing her because another guy, third party, not her at all, maybe flirted with her, and she gets punished. That's already like such a red flag to me. Disgusting. As someone who has been on the receiving end of ridiculous silent treatments, I already don't like this guy. No. So like even if you are in the middle of a fight or an argument with your partner, if you get a call and you're like actively ignoring their calls, whatever, just because whatever, I don't like that. But if you get a call from someone and you are told like there is an emergency going on and your gut reaction is not like put this argument to the side for a moment and be concerned for your partner's well-being. There's a phrase in my head that I want to say, but I don't say bad words on my channel. So I won't say it. However, you ain't nothing. No, I don't know, that doesn't hit as hard. You know what I mean? It doesn't hit as hard. You know what I'm trying to say. No. Piece of crap human being, in my opinion, in this moment. And so now this is a year later, right? This woman has not only moved on and grieved the relationship, moved on, grieved, mourned her miscarriage, and now he wants to reopen no, I'm sorry. You don't get to backtrack any progress that she's made from dealing with this traumatic experience and from dealing with this situation that she dealt with on her own, because now you're ready. No, it doesn't work that way. And I'm sure there's going to be people in the comments who are like, maybe he wasn't emotionally ready at the time. Maybe he was in a bad place. Maybe he healed and now he's ready to own that responsibility that he messed up and blah, blah, blah. That's fine. That's great. That doesn't make it her responsibility to relive any of that or deal with any of that or make her obligated to like open that box back up mentally for her. It's not her responsibility. He very well, like I think there's two options. He very well could have grown up, matured, got his ish together, and decided like, wow, I messed up. I need to make amends. I need to like be an adult and own up to that this happened. He could have. he could also be like trying to finagle a way back into her life and trying to emotionally manipulate her into doing so. I don't really care which option it is. It could be either. You could argue, I don't care which one it is. Even if he had the best intentions in the world, it is not her job to go through any of that again, relive it again, talk to him about it. Like, no. Did he ask the friend that he answered the phone for if she had copies of those photos? Did he call the hospital and see, like, hey, do you happen to have these files still in the system? Do you have a copy of this photo? Like, no. You just wanted to bother her with it. You wanted to reopen her trauma and her issues. Okay, I got it. Because I have a hard time believing anyone would go through that and think it would be not a big deal to just like, hey, you got this photo? No. Anyone who would genuinely believe that's not a big deal, I think might have the emotional span of a spoon. And if that's the case, maybe you need a little bit of tough love in harsh reality to realize that other people in their experiences exist in the effect that your actions have on them. And like, go to therapy and like look into that self-awareness, okay? And like, to be completely honest, if this was a well-intentioned, he went to therapy and he got help and he wants to do better, I have a hard time believing that a licensed professional therapist would encourage him that it would be a good idea to reach out to her and ask her about the miscarriage she had a year ago, and if she would like to talk about it and get together and send photos before even like saying hello to her, seeing how she's been doing. Like, you know what I mean? I don't like any of this at all. Again, do I think that other women might have a different opinion based on like their experiences or their boundaries? Or sure, yeah, absolutely, and that's valid. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really personally care if a guy has a different opinion than me, because your body didn't do that. It wasn't your body that happened to. And I think a lot of guys who might have a problem with that, well, it's my baby too. Correct. I didn't say the guy couldn't care. I didn't say he couldn't have trouble with it on his own or have trauma from it on his own. I said that it's not her responsibility to bear that burden again, because now you're ready. Now he's ready. Because while it is both parents' child, it's the women who, if anyone feels this way, it's going to be the woman who feels like, I don't know how to phrase this, but who blames themselves. It's their body. This happened in their body. And while there was nothing they could do, a lot of women blame themselves. A lot, like infertility is a very real thing. And though it impacts both men and women, and though no matter, like even if it's the woman in the relationship who is infertile, which is predominantly the case statistically, and both partners are going to feel it, it's typically going to be the woman that feels the guilt and shame, and there's nothing to feel guilty or ashamed about. It's still a reality. So that's why when I say I don't really care if guys have a different opinion than me on this one, that's exactly what I mean, because y'all aren't gonna have that experience in that way. Even in situations where it is the guy who is infertile, which is sometimes the case, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's just not. So I'm going good apple. And I'm just thinking back because I feel like there's going to be something that someone tries to cancel me for in that explanation, and just is what it is. But it does look like we got all 4 good apples, which, you know, we had to take a little bit of a break, had court things to deal with, as you guys have probably read in more of my posts and things like that. That's all over. Hallelujah. Woo! And what a great, like, apple picking day to come back to. All good apples. We've been gone so long that the bad apples, they're scared to come out. I feel it. You just give it some time. They always do. As always, if you want to transfer your stories to be featured on Am I the Bad Apple, you can send them to my subreddit, r/AmITheBadApple. And for your well wishes today, it is National Women's Physicians Days. I don't know if that, like, really relates to the last story, but I feel like it does. And it just feels right. It feels right. Y'all, I never do these things on purpose. I don't ever even check the days, the national days, until like literally this moment when I'm recording. It all comes together naturally. I love it. So if you're a women's physician, we are celebrating you today. And if not, it is National Carrot Cake Day, and I love me some carrot cake. So I am going to go find some. That feels like a really good idea. Now my mouth is watering. I'm gonna go do that. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day and hope to see y'all next week. Bye, my lovelies. Mwah.